Solving a rational equation. In this section, we look at rational equations that, after some manipulation, result in a linear equation. If an equation contains at least one rational expression, it is considered a rational equation. Recall that a rational number is the ratio of two numbers, such as 2/3 or 7/2. A rational expression is the ratio or quotient of two polynomials. Here are three examples: x plus 1 over x squared minus 3, 1 over x minus 3, or 4 over x squared plus x minus 2. Rational equations have a variable in the denominator in at least one of the terms. Our goal is to perform algebraic operations so that the variables appear in the numerator. In fact, we will eliminate all denominators by multiplying both sides of the equation by the least common denominator, LCD. Finding the LCD is identifying an expression that contains the highest power of all the factors in all of the denominators. We do this because when the equation is multiplied by the LCD, the common factors in the LCD and in each denominator will equal 1, and that will cancel it out. So for example number 3, we want to solve a rational equation. So we have some steps that we want to follow here. In order to solve this rational equation, we need to look at the denominators first. So the denominators have the variables in them. We need to determine if there are any restrictions. Restrictions meaning that what happens when the denominator can become 0, and how can it become 0? So we take 2x and we set it equal to 0 to find out when does this denominator going to equal 0. Well, if we divide both sides by 2, x is equal to 0. If we take the other denominator that has an x in it, 3x is equal to 0, divide both sides by 3, x is equal to 0. So what that means is x cannot equal 0 as a solution because it would make the equation undefined, meaning that it would be 7/2 times 0 or 5/3 times 0, which won't be true. So we always have to look at restrictions first before we do anything when we're dealing with a rational equation that has a variable in a denominator. Step 2, we want to then identify how many terms does the equation have. Well, there are 3 terms. The first term is 7/2x, the second term is minus 5/3x, and the third term is 22/3. And then number 3, we want to determine what is the LCD of those 3 terms. Well, the denominator for the first term is 2x, the denominator of the second term is 3x, and the denominator for the third term is 3. So the LCD between 2, 3, and 3 is the number 6, and the LCD between x and x is x. So that means that the LCD is 6x. In step 4, what we want to do is multiply each term by the LCD that we had found. So we take our original equation, which is 7/2x minus 5/3x equals 22/3, and then we multiply it by the LCD. The LCD being 6x/1, and we're multiplying that by each term. Now what that allows us to do is that's going to allow us to be able to simplify the denominator. So we can see here that this 2x divides into this 3x 3 times, and that becomes a 1. So we end up with 3 times 7 in the next step. Minus 3x goes into 6x twice, and that's a 1. So then we have minus 2 times 5 equals, now the number 3 goes into 6x 2x times. So therefore we have 22 times 2x. And now we can multiply these values. So 3 times 7 is 21, minus 2 times 5, which is minus 10, which is equal to 22 times 2x, which is equal to 44x. Now it becomes a standard equation that we can solve for x. So we want to isolate the variable x. Now 21 minus 10 gives us 11. And then divide both sides by 44, we get x is equal to 11/44. And therefore x is going to equal 1/4. So the solution is 1/4. It's a conditional statement because we get a number for our solution, and we also need to determine at the very beginning that the excluded value was 0. So since we didn't get 0 as an answer, then we're okay that this is a solution.